So my name's Tyson. I play in Trollbloods. This round I was playing with Borka, and he made me go first.
Yeah, this is round one, table one. My name's Paul. I'm from Santa Barbara Wargaming. I played Menoth, and I brought E. Fiora. That was about it. I think you brought Borka, you had like Mole and an Earthborn, Fenblades, Support, and Janessa.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see, I brought the Vessel, Redeemer, Reckoner, Holy Zealots, Exemplar, and Support. It was a pretty good game. We played Gauntlet with the 2 boxes, and you're trying to control the opponent's area. And it was a tough game.
Both attrition lists.
Both attrition lists. He ran up his Femblades. I ran up I went first. No, you went first.
Yeah.
I ran up the Femblades, then I ran up the Zealots, then he just...
Femblades ran and engaged.
Exactly.
And Iron fleshed up.
Exactly, and then you had a great thing because I would kill one with the Zealots, and then you would Vengeance, and then you would also kill. So the Zealots died really quick.
Yeah, pretty quickly I dispatched him, and eventually I got Mulg in, and I tried to trample up to his...
the Vessel of Judgment, the big battle engine.
Well, no, actually I was going after your Jack. Your heavy
you're
Jack.
trying to get on the Reckoner on the right side.
So I was short of the Reckoner, but then I ate the rest of his Knight's Exemplar instead.
Yes.
Then the Earthborn charged up and finished the Vessel off.
After like a good Fenblade hit.
Yeah, Fenblade took like 10 points off of it on a charge.
Armor 20. It was like dice minus 6, and you rolled 665 or something. It was nasty.
And then I ran another Fenblade around on his caster, which proceeded to die next turn. I think he did 1 point to your caster, maybe.
Oh,
anyways,
was this the Earthborn?
No, the Fenblade that ran around.
Oh yeah, the Fenblades were great. I think they were probably the MVP. They cleared out the Zealots. They kept hitting. I did get a chance to kill the Fellcaller pretty early on with the Redeemer.
And Janessa.
Yes.
Yeah, via fire.
By fire, rolled double 6s to kill Janessa on fire. She missed her tough roll. She would have won.
One turn I did forget to upkeep all my spells. I feeded, I moved up, and then I forgot to do the rest of the stuff with Borka, which didn't fortunately lose me the game. But so eventually I had control of the zone, and so it was really left up to Fiora. So she fire stepped in, took her best on Borka. I transferred one of the damages, and then Borka brain damaged her to death.
Yeah,
so
she had already taken some damage from the Femblades. It was a tough list because I knew that he had 2 heavy hitters, and he got him up the field really well. He put him behind a stone, and they're just really high arm. And I knew Fiora's list is really tough because bringing a Vessel along is really good, but it's not a heavy hitter in melee. So if I'm coming against like 2 heavy melee models, and I lose, if I can't take one of them out, I can't have the Reckoner kind of trade heavy pieces.
And being all small, I can trample through most of your army to get to your important pieces.
It's a great list, especially if you can bring those 2 heavies to bear.
Yep.
And that's what you did. So E. Fiora got taken out by a nice Borka list, and we'll see you guys next round.
Yep.
Cool.
Hi, my name's Mark Sanders. I'm from Santa Barbara Wargaming.
I'm Alex from San Luis Wargaming.
We were playing on table 2, and it's still the first round of the tournament, the Central Coast Steamroller, Central Coast Championship.
Something, I don't know.
Something, one of those.
They'll figure it out.
The faction I was playing was Scorn, and you were playing
Circle.
My caster was Epic Makeda, and your caster
was Prime Kruger.
I won. What would you say some of the highlights were?
The highlight was when you did a dive bomb with your Archidon, crossed all of my force, attacking Kruger and throwing me with the very last roll, letting you finish Kruger off with the Mullet Karn.
Yeah, that was the Emikatus feat, which I think that's the first time I've used her feat. Usually Road to War gets it done. This was Instruments of War. I was able to rush an enraged Archidon after it had been leashed up with Instruments of War. Critical pitch Kruger right into Moloch Karn's reach, and then Moloch Karn finished off knockdown Kruger. Anything else you want to say?
That's it.
It was good. It was a very good game. I was personally impressed by Megalith. I haven't played him in a long time. His ability to geomancy that chain lightning, as it killed off a whole swath of Praetorians, and then the Druids. The Druid with their cancel magic, control magic kind of shenanigans made me really reconsider exactly where I was going to place my caster and how bubbles of Scornergy were going to work. So anything else? We'll just sign off?
Yep.
Okay, so thanks.
Okay, so I'm Nick. I'm from Santa Barbara War Gaming. We're here at the Central Coast Steamroller Tournament. We just played our first battle report game. We were table number 3, round number 1. I play Menoth for faction. I played Efiora list. The highlights of the list, was a somewhat standard Efiora list. Just a couple heavy jacks. The scenario didn't really come into play too much. It was an attrition game. We were playing Death Clock 50-minute timers. I think we both had less than 10 minutes left at the end. It came up with a very close caster kill. Game was basically summarized with very poor rolling on both sides. And it was incredibly close. Could have gone either way.
My name's Ryan Carroll with the Bakersfield contingent. I was running Signar, Epic Nemo, running a lot of Stormsmiths, had a Firefly Jack out there to help. Couldn't really triangulate because I couldn't close them in tight enough. But I was rolling really high on my storm calling rolls, which I didn't want, so that was kind of a problem. Primarily, my primary mistake was probably getting Nemo out in the open, where he could just get swarmed at the end there, because he is not that beefy of a dude. I was just trying to get as much spell slinging out as I possibly could before he went down by that point, and yeah, I lost, but it was enjoyable. So.
I'm Lacey.
We just finished our game.
Round one. Table 4.
Table 4. And so I was playing Retribution.
I was playing Circle of Orboros with Chromac.
And I was with Gareth. Main battle group composition. I had Phoenix, Sphinx, a small unit of mage hunters with the attachment, 2 assassins, 2 ghost snipers, an artificer, and an arcanist.
I had Chromac, Megalith, a Warpwolf Stalker, and a Pureblood Warpwolf, and a full unit of the Gatorman Posse. That's it, yeah.
So, match began. I had first turn, moved up, then she moved up. I basically was able to luck out and get a Gallows and a Magnoblast off, which pulled one of her Warp Wolves in charge range for my Sphinx, which was able to smash it up pretty good, helped out by some good shooting from the Mage Hunters who I had camped out on a hill. Next turn, her Warp Wolf got revenge, and then I returned fire with my Assassins, doing a nice 12-point decapitation and plus some other hitting where there's my force. Next main event would be that my Phoenix moving off to intercept her Gatormen, and the Gatormen did hold up my Phoenix for a while, so I wasn't really able to get much of anything, but eventually was just able to combust them down. They unfortunately bounced a few too many times with their hits, but did do some damage to it. I had to also move my Artificer into melee to clean them up. Then past that, it was attrition started to take effect. She had Megalith left, so pretty much
Megalith and Chromac. Yeah.
Then just came down to she went beast form, went for the assassination run, couldn't get it off, and Gareth started chopping up.
Yeah, your feet really hurt me because if the place effect hadn't been there, I would have just leaped in.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to do that, so I was a little confused as to how to kill Gareth with Chromac at that point. Wasn't able to do it, so.
Well, that's one of my main reasons for Gareth is he's my anti-Orboros caster because he can death sentence against the high def war beast, and he can negate the place effects that they so often destroy me with. But any comments from you?
I don't think so. That pretty much sums up the game. So, yeah. First round. Oh, and we're both from Santa Barbara Wargaming.
Yes.
We were supposed to say that.
We are from Santa Barbara Wargaming. So that was round one for us, and back to you in studio.
Round number one, table number 5. My name is Mike Smith, and I'm from the Slow Gaming Group.
My name is Michael Dillard. I'm from the Santa Barbara Gaming Group.
I played Kador and I played Harkovich.
I had Retribution with Raven.
Yeah, and what were the highlights? The highlight was my destroyer lost his axe.
I mean, basically to summarize, when you're playing Raven, you're always looking for the quick sort of shooting assassination, but Kador tends to be so tough and high armed that it's not always easy, so it sort of became a matter of, can he chop through my infantry and get to my caster faster than I can stall his jacks and somehow manage to shoot his caster? I mean, would you agree?
I would agree, and the answer was no. I could not punch through his infantry. Super close game. I did, my mortar didn't hit anything, but that wasn't really a highlight. That was more like a low light.
That was more like a low light. That was one of those things you look back on and just be like, I may never use those again.
It's Rat 3, so I expected it to hit all game long, and it didn't. What else? Let's see.
Like a pro, I decided to pop Raven's feet for boosted ranged attacks. Immediately after, Harkovich had popped his feet and everything had insane armor, so I set up this big shooting turn, and it was like, yeah, I'm armed 21, 23 right now. I'm like, time for plan B.
Yep. And yet he still managed to win. Raven had a shot at probably turn 4, turn 5, something like that.
It basically came down to Raven in turn 4, turn 5, with very few infantry left and a couple of unengaged Invictors being able to walk up and shoot him down with a boosted shot from Raven with a CRA from the Invictors, and I had some decent rolls there for damage, and thankfully it was enough.
And Harkovich went down.
Raven was on 4 or 5 damage boxes, so she was sweating bullets for the last couple of turns. And since I only
Black Ivan had just gotten free. Black Ivan had just gotten free, so he was coming.
It was basically, if I hadn't been able to pull it off that turn, I was guaranteed dead next round. I had a bunch of fairly undamaged jacks staring at Raven with 5 damage boxes left. So it was by far the closest game I've had in a long time.
Yeah, good game, close game. See ya.
4 more to do today.
Yeah.
Hi there, I'm Nathan Cook. This was round 1 of the Central Coast Championship. We're playing on table 6 against Christian Cole.
Hello.
We're both from the Santa Barbara Wargaming group. I was playing Old Witch for Kador.
I was playing P. Kruger for Circle Ouroboros.
And it was a very intense game, I think.
It was very intense.
It was fun, lots of dice on the table. The end result was a caster kill. Old Witch taking out P. Kruger in melee after teleporting in with Scrapjack.
Unseen Path.
Unseen Path.
You never,
Avatar of Slaughter,
I guess you don't expect the Old Witch from doing that. It's kind of nasty.
The dice were with me. I had to roll boosted to hit both times. I got very lucky on the damage rolls, and I was able to do it. If I didn't do that, I was going to lose on scenario. Christian had already snagged a point previously. Very fun game. I've got a picture here that I'm kind of looking at to see what we were doing. Basically, his list, he was running 3 heavies.
3 heavies, so Getterix, Gnarlhorn, and Woolborden with Wilder. It's a pretty good combo with P. Kruger. He's good at running lots of heavies. Both P and D. Kruger are good at running lots of beasts.
Alternatively, I was running a heavy infantry list, which P. Kruger's good at destroying.
Yep, his speed's nasty.
Speed's very nasty. I had Behemoth, who didn't really become a factor. I was staring across the board at 3 heavies, and I was like, Behemoth's not going to take all of these guys out. He really laid back, wasn't much of an impact on the game. My infantry was getting destroyed, and I was just able to get a kill vector in with Unseen Path, and got very fortunate.
So I had 1 Fury left on me. I should have left more, anticipating what was happening, but I really needed to clear out some more models, and I tornado pushed Behemoth into a forest, knocking him down, kind of shutting down Behemoth for that turn. And I set up my beasts so that if he was going to charge me or something, they'd get a counter charge off and an honorary slap. Yeah, he could have cast Gallows. I still would have gotten an honorary slap, which could have hurt him. P. Kruger, really good board control, but he does suffer from his low arm. He's got 14 arm. He can get up to 17 defense, which, as we saw, was pretty difficult for you to hit. But that Nis Hunter combined range with, what, 7 of them?
Yeah, I got 7, combined range deck with 7 Nis Hunters in on Kruger. That did 5 to hit. It was going to be 13 damage.
Dice plus 2 is 13 damage. I transferred it away to Getterix.
Then he had no transfers left. Yeah. The other pain that was coming later that turn.
Yeah, I never remembered that Old Witch has Unseen Path. I should know this because Cassius has it too. So next time, Old Witch. Next time.
Next time.
I'll get you eventually.
All right.
Eventually. All right. I think we're done.
That's it.
Round 1, Table 7. I'm Lance. This is Steven.
Hey.
I was playing a Mercenary Highborn Covenant Ashland list in a Gauntlet scenario against a Fiora.
Epic Fiora.
Epic Fiora.
Tetra de Minoth, obviously.
Yes. I went first, advanced pretty quickly across the board, and that was pretty much the extent of my actions.
On my first turn, I advanced also pretty quickly, but I got my Vanquisher to fire off an AoE 4 into his Halberdiers, killing 3 of them, and then the fire damage killed the next one the next turn. And then that was my first turn.
On the second turn, I took an advance forward, landed a solid hit on his caster with a Mule, tried to run the rest of the Vanguards and Ashland up to get a shot off. The Vanguards were out of range. Ashland got a shot in, boosted damage, but did no damage to her. So I debated popping my feet at that point because I knew his counterattack was going to come. Decided against it, thinking that my caster was screened effectively with 2 Vanguards and that I could use it the second turn to counterattack with my Cav. But
as I next turn had an Ignite and a Battle Hymn from my Choir on my Templar, I walked my Templar up to one of the Light Jacks, hit him once, beat him back an inch, moved my Templar up an inch, and was in reach of his caster, whom I boosted to attack and boosted damage as well, and then one-shot him. No, I didn't boost damage.
I'm pretty sure you did boost damage because you were doing dice plus 6.
It was dice plus 6, yes, because she has no focus on her.
And you rolled 3.
Yes.
So that was a very short game.
Yes, very short. Very unfortunate, but very short.
Okay, I'd say to the winner goes the spoil, so you introduce yourself first and then I'll go second.
Hi, I'm Tom. I was playing Scorn today with Primal Makeda. This was round 1 on table number 8.
Yep, and I'm Andy from Santa Barbara Wargaming. I was playing Fiona the Black. This is my first outing with her running a Highborn Covenant list. And it was the, Gauntlet scenario? Is that what it was? Two square boxes, you had to take over the other person's.
Yeah.
All right.
My opponent played a little bit too conservatively in earlier rounds, so I was able to push through for scenario victory, but he made a real threat on assassination for a couple rounds straight. If his dice had come up better, he probably would have beat me.
That was my whole strategy the entire time, was going for the assassination run. Yeah, not unhappy with my tactics at all. I just couldn't quite pull the dice that I needed, so c'est la vie. Had a couple tries to do it and couldn't do it. A lot of critical whiff going on.
Yeah.
But hey, I think the biggest critical whiffs of the day were Ragman dodging all those shots from the swordsman and the Catrati and everything like that. He was
dice -3, no damage. Dice -3, no damage.
Yeah, he was like the Jackie Chan of my army right there. He was just bouncing all over the place. But yeah, it was a good game. Win by scenario for Scorn. And we'll see how round 2 goes, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, my name is Robert Adame, and we did round 1. We were at table 9, and I'm from Santa Barbara Wargaming. My faction is Signar, and I was using P. Haley, and I'll pass it to you.
Yeah. Anthony Halford out of Vandenberg, played again at round 1, table 9. I was wielding Menoth, fielding my P. Fiora. I ended up getting the victory on this game. It was pretty close. He got pretty unlucky. His first temporal barrier, most of my stuff was outside, so I was able to get the speed that I needed to get in there.
Yeah, those back guys got the run, and they helped.
I don't know who my MVP of the game would be, though. It's probably maybe the Vessel or Judgment or the Knights. It'd be one of the two.
One of those two. And don't forget your feet.
Yeah, the feet took out a lot of his stuff, too. Putting all of his gun mages on fire was pretty nice.
Destroyed almost half of them.
Exactly.
And he did Explosion on my caster and put her in flames, and she had 1 life left. And that basically ended my game.
Yeah, I had the Castigator. The Castigator went up, caught her on fire. Fiora went up, cast a couple of flamethrower sprays at him, got her down to 1. Next turn, Fire came up and got what I needed to get the victory.
Yep. So, good game.
Good game.
This was round 1, table 10. My name's Aaron Cook from Santa Barbara Wargaming. I played Retribution, Lord Arcanist Ossian.
Tin Man XL here, and of course, round 1 of the tournament, table 10. Group representing Team Paladin, Bakersfield, California. My faction, Circle Orbros. My caster, Kruger, the Storm Wrath.
So the game was I guess a knockdown, drag-out punch fest is the best way to describe it. He wiped out my Mage Hunter Strike Force really early on in the game. A lot of chain lightnings, a lot of electro leaps, and I really had to grind it out. He massacred my infantry pretty well. Had some rough dice at key times, and I barely managed to pull it out. Just kept my 2 jacks alive and punching, and managed to kill his beasts fairly mid-game.
So basically, I might have 2 lists. One's designed to punch armor, and one's designed to get infantry. And this was my anti-infantry list, and it worked. It did what I wanted to do, except for the whole losing part. But yeah, this game was a dogfall. It was a slobber knocker. This was just just boom, boom, spit flying, and it was probably one of the most awesome games I've played in a tournament probably ever. It's probably one of my top. It's going to be one of my top 5 all-time favorite tournament games.
I concur.
And like I said, man, it went down to the wire. He was able. It was downhill when he was able to take out my Pureblood Warpwolf and my Argus Hound and my Wold Warden in the same turn. And it just turned into a situation of, okay, what's going to kill me first, the death clock or him? I had 5 minutes left at the end of the game. I was basically gotten to a point where I was just having to do damage to myself to keep my Fury up to cast Skyborn and maybe try to boost something. I could have at least taken a control point for myself, but I chose not to boost an attack roll against the Arcanist. If I boost that attack roll against the Arcanist, it would have taken a power 13 damage roll, and I probably would have taken it out of the control zone and at least walked away with my head up going, well, at least I got a control point. But that's not how it happened. And since he played me before, this game's basically a rematch. He knew to keep his caster out of Kruger's 13-inch threat range because Kruger cast Skyborn, charges 11 inches, got 2 inches of reach, and bam.
Ossian decided that discretion was the better part of valor today. He did not play frontline today. He stayed out of the assassination range. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll look forward to the rest of the rounds.
Steam Power TV, DiceRage.com, DiceRage.com, DiceRage.com. Go there.